Let us share a word of prayer. I'm going to kneel. You can just sit where you're at and just bow your head. Father in heaven, we thank you for this Sabbath day. We ask your blessings as we delve into this material. Please help us to learn how to reverse these diseases like heart disease and diabetes and arthritis and lupus and all of these autoimmune diseases. Please bless us with heavenly wisdom and understanding, and open our hearts to retain this information, and be with me as I share. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so what I'm going to be sharing with you today is part 2 of our Abundant Life seminar. We're going to talk about reversing heart diseases, diabetes, cancer, and other degenerative diseases. This would also include the autoimmune diseases like lupus and things like that. So fibromyalgia and whatnot. So we're going to talk about disease and how to reverse these diseases. If I can get my, I guess it would help to put the plug in so that the thing will work, huh? Hello. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's talk about medical missionary work for just a minute. Like I said, I took a lot of slides out because I don't want to make it extremely very long. But here it says in volume 7 of the Testimonies, page 62, we have come to a time when every member of the church should take hold of medical missionary work. The world is a Lazarus house filled with victims of both physical and spiritual disease. Everywhere, people are perishing for lack of a knowledge of the truths that have been committed to us. The members of the church are in need of an awakening, that they may realize their responsibility to impart these truths. So again, she says every member of the church, that's all of us, every one of us sitting here is called by God to be a medical missionary, okay? That doesn't mean you have to be a nurse or a doctor or whatever, although that would help because you have more knowledge than the rest of us. So I'd like to start with this principle found in Leviticus 17:11, which was quoted this morning during the natural remedy demonstration. It says, the life of the flesh is in the blood. So our life is in our blood. If you get cut really bad and you bleed a lot, what happens? The life of you goes out of you. You die, right? Because you bleed to death. So the life of the flesh is in the blood. And that's why God says, don't eat blood, because blood is not food. Okay? And it's not good for you. It doesn't nourish your body when you're eating it. Well, notice what it says here in Ministry of Healing, page 271. In order to have good health, we must have good blood. For the blood is the current of life. It repairs waste and nourishes the body. When supplied with the proper food elements and when cleansed and vitalized by contact with pure air, it carries life and vigor to every part of the system. The more perfect the circulation, the better will this work be accomplished. So, again, when we look at this statement, it's talking about circulation. In order to have good health, you need to have good blood. In order to have good blood, you need good circulation. And in order to have good circulation, you need what?
Good diet.
A good diet and?
Exercise.
Exercise. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes, diet is important because the food makes blood, right? But we must circulate the blood by exercise. And a lot of people say, well, where in the Bible does it talk about exercise? Well, in Genesis, God put Adam and Eve in the garden to dress it and to keep it. In other words, they were farmers. They were planting and taking care of the plants. And they were exercising. And in that hot tropical weather that they were living in the Garden of Eden, actually it was cool of the day. It was nice. But it was tropical weather. And it was warm. And they were sweating and they were drinking water. They were getting sunshine and fresh air. They were eating the fruits of the trees and the leaves of the plants and all of those green leafy vegetables, and they were communing with God. There you have the New Start program right in the book of Genesis, in the first couple chapters, as a matter of fact. So, let's talk about the blood for just a minute. If we were to diagram the red blood cell, it would look like this. This is a chemical diagram, and notice iron is at the center of this molecule, okay? But over here on the left, we have what is called plant chlorophyll. And magnesium is at the center. But notice the structure of this chlorophyll molecule in comparison with the molecule of the red blood cell. It's the same. In fact, it is identical. Okay? with the only difference being iron at the center of this one and magnesium at the center of that one. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the blood of the plant is like the blood in your body. That's what it tells us. And if you're going to look at some of the videos on our YouTube channel, watch the one called The Green Miracle. You want to watch that. It's very powerful. In fact, we have a whopping 250 views. It's not a lot, but anyways. But it's a video people like to watch because it tells a story about a woman that was 9 months pregnant. And she was extremely anemic, and we had her drinking green smoothies 3 times a day. When she went in to deliver the baby, they took blood from this person 4 times because they couldn't believe that this person who was extremely anemic, who they feared was going to bleed to death and needed to have a transfusion, they feared that she was going to die from, bleeding to death. They had her taking iron pills, and they were preparing her for blood transfusion. When she came into the hospital in labor, her blood was absolutely normal. And the doctor kept commanding the nurse, go back and take blood again. I don't believe that. There's something wrong here. And every time they took blood, 4 times, and they found out that her blood was normal. She delivered a normal, healthy child without any hemorrhaging and no need for blood transfusion. Because of chlorophyll, this green blood of the plant. Yes?
You said the blood is the same as...
The blood in your body. Yeah.
The doctor said that.
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, the blood of the plant is the same as the blood in your body. What that means is the chlorophyll is the best nutrient that you can put in your body to nourish your blood. That's basically what I mean, okay? All right. So let's talk about this. Chlorophyll is plant blood, almost identical to our own red blood cells. It cleanses the blood, it binds with heavy metals and helps remove them from the body. It cleanses the bowel, it increases red blood cell count. That's what exactly happened with this lady who was 9 months pregnant. And it oxygenates the blood, brings oxygen to your blood. It alkalizes the blood, it helps fight disease. It strengthens immunity, very important. You want to build your immune system? You need more greens. It is anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and cancer protective. So this is very powerful medicine, bottom line. What is the healing power of chlorophyll? Again, it is almost identical to the blood that's in our body. Where do we get chlorophyll? From all the green plants. Okay? Chlorophyll is highly alkaline. It contains antioxidants, vitamins like A, C, E, K, folic acid, iron, calcium, and protein. And these antioxidants protect the body from the damage caused by free radicals. Other elements help build healthy cells and enhance the function of the immune system. This is crucial. Remember this right here. This reduces the risk of cancer. This is one of the most important health benefits of liquid chlorophyll. Chlorophyll also neutralizes the effects of carcinogens in all body organs. Those are things that cause cancer, okay? As a part of detoxification or cleansing, chlorophyll helps the body to get rid of calcium oxalate stones by breaking them down. That's the stones in the kidneys, which we have a picture of here, okay? This reduces the risk of kidney disease, so very important that we have plenty of chlorophyll in our diet. Very important. Now we're going to talk about how we can concentrate up this chlorophyll and get a purified form of that and put it into our body. That is through what we call green smoothies. Now a green smoothie is basically it's blended greens, okay? Now we can eat green salads and we get chlorophyll that way, but the better way to do it, to get more benefit out of the greens, and I'm not saying don't eat salads, you should eat salads too, we need that. But one of the ways that we can concentrate up that chlorophyll is by blending it with water or coconut juice. In the Philippines we have lots of buko, they call it buko, it's coconut juice. And we take the water of the coconut, we also put the coconut meat in there, and we put a banana, maybe some mango, and we blend it up with what we call Chinese malunggay. This is the malunggay. There's moringa, which is Moringa oleifera is the name of it. And that's the round one. It's kind of spicy and it's hot, and the Filipinos love to cook it with soup. And it grows everywhere in the Philippines. That is our Philippine equivalent of wheatgrass in the United States. Okay? So wheatgrass and moringa are basically the same. It's just a different plant. It has the same nutrients, and it's very, very highly concentrated dosage of chlorophyll and magnesium and iron and protein all in one little package.
We have
So-
chlorophyll here,
Good.
or moringa.
Moringa, yeah, they have moringa here too, yeah. So some people are growing that in California.
Yes, they are.
So really good stuff. Now we grow Chinese malunggay, which is a different type. The moringa that you're familiar with grows in a tree that grows as tall as like 30, 40 feet high. And there's a big tree down the street from where we live in the Philippines, and I just go down there and with this big long bamboo pole and cut branches off, and we use that for our diabetic patients and our cancer patients and our people with high blood pressure. And I blend that stuff up with a little bit of fruit. The diabetics, I use non-sweet fruits, and we blend it up and we let them drink that. And it's medicine. It helps reduce their blood pressure and lower their blood sugar at the same time. Amazing stuff. So here we are in Sushila Church in Quezon City in the Philippines, in Manila, serving green smoothies in church.
Amen.
This is in the afternoon meeting. Normally we'd have a blender here, we'd have salad stuff, and we'd do a demonstration, but we didn't have the opportunity to prepare that today, being that we traveled 6 hours coming down here. We arrived at 10 o'clock last night. But anyways, so what would be an example of a green smoothie recipe? This is just a sample. This is just give you an idea of what a green smoothie looks like. We put banana. This is called banana avocado smoothie. We just made this up, by the way. You put 2 cups of water in the blender. You put 3 to 4 leaves of kale, 1 avocado, 1 banana, and you blend it well and you serve that. Now, the whole idea is not the fruit. The fruit is to make the green leafy vegetable taste good. Because if you just blend kale with water, it's going to taste really terrible. Huh? But if you put a banana in there, or some mangoes, or blueberries, or frozen strawberries, then it tastes really good. Okay? In this case, avocado and banana. In the Philippines, this would be a recipe we would use. We put 2 cups of water, 3 ripe bananas, 1 handful of greens, and a ripe mango. Now, you can substitute whatever fruit you want here in the U.S. We have strawberries, blueberries are in season now. You can buy mangoes in the stores from Mexico or even the Philippines. In the Asian markets, you can buy those. So you can do different varieties. You can use romaine lettuce, you could use malunggay, you could use kale, spinach, any kind of green leafy vegetable. Blend that up and it will give you a lot of energy, I'm telling you. Green pina colada, again, 3 ripe bananas, 2 cups of water, 1 handful of greens like malunggay or pechay in the Philippines. That's our lettuce, because lettuce is very expensive in the Philippines, being that it's in the tropics. It grows only in the northern city of Baguio primarily, and it's very expensive by the time it reaches Manila. How much more south of Manila? It's very expensive. So we use pechay, which is a little vegetable that grows everywhere. Fresh pineapple, and you put a little coconut milk in there. So that's to give you an idea. So green smoothies are very good for alkalinizing your blood. They will boost your iron content. It will help you have increased bowel movements and lots of energy. This family is called the Botenko family. They are called the Raw family because this family are Russians. They immigrated to the United States about 30-something years ago. And when they came here, they were very, very sick. In fact, they were sick and dying. Mrs. Botenko had arrhythmia, heart disease. Her son at 10 years old was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. The doctors told the mother that if you don't give your son insulin injections, he will go into a coma and die. And that's true. The daughter had at least three asthma attacks a week. She was failing in school, and the father, Igor, had, this is Valia, and Igor had thyroid disease and was also very sick. So, being desperate, Mrs. Botenko, one day in public was asking just random people on the street, do you know anything for heart disease and diabetes? And one lady in the bank says, oh yeah, you need to eat raw. She says, raw? You mean like raw meat? She says, no. Raw vegetables and fruits. She's like, oh, you mean you don't cook it? No, you eat it raw. Really? Okay, so the lady said, come on, you come with me to lunch and I'll explain. So the lady explained to her that all that cooked food is killing you, especially the meat and the dairy products. It's killing you. I said, really? Well, we grow up in Russia eating borsch. You know what borsch is? It's bloody soup. Dinuguan sa Pilipinas. No? Yeah, it's a soup with pork in it, and it's got blood, and it's really nasty stuff. Anyways, so the Russians are really fond of this kind of soup, you know? And they were eating a lot of pork and meat and dairy products, and that's why they were sick. And so Mrs. Butenko went home, she cleaned out all the cabinets, and she stocked the refrigerator with fruits and vegetables. Nothing cooked in the house. All fruits and vegetables raw. And I know why she's saying amen, because she studied this already. I'm saying amen too. I'm excited. I'm just getting started. Just hang on. Hang on to your seat. All right. So anyways, so Mrs. Butenko, she put all this stuff in the refrigerator, and she said she could hear the refrigerator opening all night long. Because the kids would come in there and they'd look, and then they'd close the door. Because they're not used to eating fruits or vegetables. They just eat meat and dairy products and stuff. And so all night long that went on. Well, they agreed as a family they were going to try this raw diet thing for 1 month. And so the whole family ate nothing but raw fruits and vegetables, no cooked food, for 1 whole month. Now, by the way, I'm not advocating that we eat a 100% raw diet, although me and my wife have done it, and I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. The whole purpose of this lecture is to explain the healing power of raw food. That is the purpose of this lecture. I'm not advocating that you don't eat cooked food at all. I'm not saying that. But my point is, if you are very, very sick, especially if you have cancer, you need to eat at least 80% raw diet if you want to get well. Okay? That's a fact. You want to hyper-neutralize your, you want to put more nutrition into your body, in other words. Okay? Now, Mrs. Butenko and her family, they ate a raw diet for 1 month, and in 1 month, all their diseases were completely gone. In 1 month. Only 1 month. And they could not believe what was happening in their body, and they decided to run a marathon. How many miles is that? 26 miles, including the kids. They all finished the race, 26-mile run. They finished the marathon. And they said, is this really true? Are we really well? I mean, we were sick and dying just a couple of months ago, and they decided to hike the Pacific Coast Trail. And so they hiked from the border of Mexico all the way to Canada. It took them 6 months, and they ate food out of the forest, and they ate a bunch of raw leaves, and they did go into town, and they bought salad stuff and fruits, and they ate a raw diet and hiked the Pacific Coast Trail. It took them 6 months, and they finished the hike. And now they have been traveling all over the world and doing lectures and telling people about the healing power of raw food. And green smoothies. Mrs. Butenko wrote a book called The Green Smoothie Revolution. You need to get this book. I don't sell these books. You can find it online. And these are great books because it talks about the benefits of the green leafy vegetables. They're high in protein. Oh, by the way, did you know the green leafy vegetables have more protein than any animal food?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We did.
And it also documents how they took 30 Americans on the standard American diet, and they told them, don't change anything in your diet, just come here every day and drink half a gallon of green smoothie every day, which we will blend and prepare for you. And they would hand them their gallon jug. Here's a half a gallon for you, a half a gallon for you. And after 30 days, they interviewed every person, and it's all in the back of the book, and they found out that some of these people's diseases disappeared in 30 days. Most of them had more energy. They needed less sleep at night. They felt better. Their minds were clearer. And most of them said that they were interested in eating a more raw diet, and they were getting off dairy products and animal foods. And they automatically gravitated toward vegetables. And these are people on the standard American diet. You know, a lot of fat, a lot of cholesterol, a lot of animal foods, okay? So that's documented in the book. Yes?
So our potluck should have plant-based diet?
Yes, our potluck should have a plant-based diet. Yes, they should. In fact, in the Philippines, most of the conferences in the Philippines have asked the members to leave their flesh foods at home. Do not bring them to church. They don't allow it in the Philippines. So that is from most conference leaders are encouraging the brethren to eat a plant-based diet. But anyway, she wrote a book called Green for Life, again documenting the benefits of green leafy vegetables. Let's move on. Okay, this man's name is Paul Neeson. Paul Neeson is not a Seventh-day Adventist. He is a Judeo-Christian. He does keep the Sabbath. He grew up as a Jew, but he believes in Jesus Christ. He does have some very strange ideas about the Godhead. Nevertheless, I'm showing this slide because I want you to know that many years ago he had inflammatory bowel disease because he was a dying man. Basically, your intestine falls apart. It's an incurable disease, and basically you will die. At 30 years old, he was a dying man. He learned about the benefits of green smoothies, green juices, wheatgrass, and raw diet. He changed his diet, and in 1 year, he was completely healed of all disease, and he is alive and well today. He travels the world, and he lectures people on the benefits of eating a raw diet and drinking green smoothies and juices. I met him personally many years ago at the Raw Food Festival in Oregon, back in the year 2007, I think it was. Yeah, 2007. Anybody know who this man is? This is George Malcolmus. He's a Baptist minister. And George Malcolmus was dying of cancer. He had late-stage cancer, I think in his 50s or 60s. And he decided to change his diet to 100% raw diet and to drink carrot apple juice and green juices every day. And in 1 year, he completely reversed all his disease process, including his cancer. This man is in his 80s today. He established a lifestyle center called Hallelujah Acres, which is in the eastern part of the United States. And they train people to become what they call health ministers. You know what a health minister is? Somebody who can take people who are diabetic, or people who have diabetes, or high blood pressure, or people that have cancer, and put them on the Hallelujah Acres diet and lifestyle program. And what is the program? 70 to 80% raw diet, exercise, trust in God, divine power, sunshine, drinking water, temperance, exercise, and plant-based diet. Have you ever heard of that before? Yes. That's the New Start program, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, it is.
He's not Seventh-day Adventist, right?
No, he's not a Seventh-day Adventist. But he spoke at Loma Linda University Church years ago, and I saw, that's back in the day when they had the VHS tapes. You remember those big bulky tapes? Yeah. And I saw the video, and he says, "Oh, you Adventists, you love your potlucks." He said, "But you know what? You people were told this 100 years ago."
Amen.
Yes, that's right.
He preached to the Adventists. He's read Ellen White books, by the way. And he knows that we have the truth when it comes to health. I don't know about his religious beliefs today, but nevertheless, they train people how to be health ministers. We call that, in our understanding, in our belief, medical missionaries. Yeah. Before and after raw vegan diet. Raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and sprouted legumes completely transformed the lives of these people who were sick with cancer, diabetes, heart diseases, and obesity. Notice this lady here eating the standard American diet and after eating a raw diet. Notice this guy, 14 stone pounds. I think he's from the UK.
Yeah.
You know, overweight, no exercise. Here he is exercising, changed diet, same person. 16 weeks later, by the way. Notice this man on the left. Here he is eating the standard American diet, not so much exercise. Here he is eating 100% raw, plant-based diet and exercise. Amazing transformation. Look at this lady, standard American diet in the year 2004. Here she is 6 years later after eating a raw diet. Look at the transformation. Look at this. This is the same lady here. 6 years later, look at that. Absolutely incredible. And did you know that the standard American diet will produce the standard American disease? And when you have the standard American disease, you have to go and see the standard American doctor. And when you see the standard American doctor, he will give you the standard American diagnosis. And after giving you the standard American diagnosis, he will prescribe for you the standard American drug, which ends in the standard American what? Death. That's exactly right. Now, I'm not against doctors, and I'm not against medications when you have an infection or something, but we're talking about lifestyle diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune diseases. These diseases cannot be cured with drugs. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have high blood pressure and you're taking losartan, 100 milligrams a day. What happens when you don't take your medication? Your blood pressure goes through the roof, right? So did the losartan or those blood pressure lower, I should say high blood pressure medications, did they lower your blood pressure, but did it cure your heart disease? No. So drugs don't cure disease, they control symptoms only. But what they don't tell you is the high blood pressure medication burns out your kidneys, it creates diabetes, and eventually you'll be on dialysis, and within 7 to 10 years, having infections and neuropathy, you'll die. That's a standard American program. All right, in 1999, Karen, age 27, overweight, here she is. In 2006, about 7 years later, at age 33, a lot younger looking. Notice again, November 2010, 7 months later, June 2011, look at the transformation. Absolutely amazing. Look at this lady here. Look at that. Same person. Look at that. Raw diet. Fruits and vegetables. Whoops. Look at this lady. 256 pounds. And here she is after eating a raw diet, 138 pounds. Yeah. Here's Gingy Talaferro at age 24. Here she is at age 39 eating a raw diet. In which picture does she look younger? The one on the left or the one on the right? Of course, the one on the right. You see, raw foods actually rejuvenate your immune system and bring healing to the body. Notice this guy before eating a raw diet, after eating a raw diet. To this day, I can't remember his name, but at one point, when I downloaded the picture, I did get his name and I looked him up on Google, and he has a website, and guess what he's teaching? New Start program. He's not Adventist. None of these people are Adventists. Take a look at this. Here's the real food pyramid right here. You know that one with the 4 food groups? You know, the dairy and the meat. That's the false one. This is the real one right here. Plant-based food pyramid. The base of your diet should be the leafy green vegetables. Genesis 1:29, right? Fruits and vegetables, nuts and grains, sprouts, legumes, seeds, and then the medicinal herbs, and very few refined oils, preferably the cold-pressed oils are the best, like the virgin olive oil or the virgin coconut oil. Those are the best. But don't cook your oils. You know, when you cook your oils, it actually clogs your arteries as if you ate a McDonald's hamburger. Did you know that? Yeah. I knew a lady used to teach health reform, and she's dead. She's been dead for many years. You know why? She used to fry her tofu, fry her potatoes, fry this, fry that, and she died of a heart attack. That was before we knew any better. It's too bad. What are the benefits of following a raw food diet? It includes improved skin appearance, excess weight loss, improved digestion, the reduction of many diseases. No, this is the point of the lecture. I'm not saying you need to eat a raw food diet, but if you're really sick, it would be better for you to eat mostly raw for quite a few months at least, okay? That will bring healing to your body. Improved digestion, the reduction of many diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, as well as many other health debilitating ailments. We had a man that here in California, in San Jose, he had prostate cancer. I put him on green smoothies 2 to 3 times a day, some medicinal herbs, and 70 to 80% raw diet, and in a year it completely reversed his cancer. Yeah, you see? This is medicine, okay? Raw foods typically do not have as many trans and saturated fats as compared to most cooked foods, especially fast food, junk food, and any other processed foods. Raw foods are also extremely high in nutrients such as potassium, magnesium, fiber, and plant phytochemicals. A report from the Journal of Nutrition stated that increased use of raw foods in our diet lowers both cholesterol and triglyceride levels in the body. Some of the main indicators for heart disease, obesity, and high blood pressure. This is taken from www.globalhealingcenter.com, Natural Health Benefits of a Raw Food Diet website. Amazing. So you see, this is medicine. Remember, healthy food is grown, it is not processed. I tell people in the Philippines who come to us for healing, who come to us for help, first thing I tell them is, I don't heal anybody here. Only God can do that. They say, oh yeah, that's right. But we know you're doing the right program. Yes, we do God's program. We will put you on the program, and we will pray in faith that God will heal you. And we see amazing miracles all the time. in days, I might add. And we'll talk about that. And I'm going to show you pictures of people that were healed of serious diseases in just a little while. But remember, the food that you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. This is written by Ann Wigmore, and she's the one who discovered the benefits of wheatgrass here in the United States. And Hippocrates, the father of medicine, 431, said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Very important. And that is true. So as we look at the raw food pyramid, we see, again, the cold-pressed oils and nutritional yeast would be at the top. You use those very sparingly, okay? And, of course, the medicinal herbs. And then we have the nuts and the seeds, the flax and the hemp seeds and whatnot, sprouts and legumes. And then we have the fruits and the vegetables and the leafy green vegetables at the bottom, which should form the foundation of your diet if you're eating a mostly or 100% raw diet. Now notice what Ellen White says in her writings about raw foods. "Let our people discard all unwholesome recipes. Let them learn how to live healthfully, teaching others what they have learned. Let them impart this knowledge as they would Bible instruction." That's why I was saying, every Sabbath there should be some kind of health lecture or food demo or some kind of natural therapy demonstration. "Let them teach the people to preserve health and increase strength by avoiding the large amount of cooking that has filled the world with chronic invalids." Now let's get the context of this. "By precept and example, make it plain that the food which God gave Adam in his sinless state is the best for man's use as he seeks to regain that sinless state." 7 Testimonies for the Church, page 135. Question: was Adam and Eve cooking their food before sin? No. So what is God saying through this statement? That the best food for the human body is raw food. You see that? And I just showed you pictures of people who are not even Seventh-day Adventists who are dying of chronic degenerative diseases that completely reverse their disease process by eating a raw diet. And you know, we went to a potluck one time. We were invited by these people in Sacramento. This is 10 years ago. We were invited by these people to attend this potluck. It's a raw food potluck. And they call it Raw Sacramento Group. And so we went there. And by the way, they have these groups in every city. They even have one in Las Vegas. I was giving this lecture 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. And the brethren looked it up and they said, "Oh, there's a group here." I said, go there and learn from those people the benefits of raw food. They're going to teach you a lot. They're far advanced than we are when it comes to nutritional knowledge. Yeah. So we went to this raw food potluck and everything was raw. They had salads, they had fruits, they had cakes and pies and crackers and cookies and bread. Everything was raw. I was like, wow. By the way, their crackers and stuff were all dehydrated. They dehydrate the sprouted grains and things. Amazing. I was so blown away. I told my wife, we gotta go. These people. I was like, man, these people, they make us look terrible. And so I said, we got to learn from these people. So we went there, and we went to this group for a year. Once a month, they had a potluck. And sometimes they'd have it in the park, and they'd set up a table, and everybody would bring a dish that was raw with a recipe card. And they would have the recipe card, and they'd tell about the dish and how to prepare it, so that everybody learned. That's all it was. It was just sharing information. And it was a lot of fun. And we met people there. Most all of the people in the group were either dying of cancer, heart disease, or diabetes. And every single one of them was completely healed by changing their diet to 100% plant-based, no cooked food, 100% raw diet. And I was like, wow. And I told my wife, after going to this group for about a year, we said, let's try this as a family. So my wife and I, along with her parents and our 4 children, we decided to go on a 100% raw diet for 1 year as an experiment. Now, we studied this, we read books on it, we attended the lectures, the seminars, we went through it, we knew all about it, and we did it for a year, and we had so much energy that we felt so good that after a year, my wife and I decided to put the kids back on a vegan diet, which includes cooked foods, plant-based. But me and my wife ate a 100% raw diet for 5 years. How many years? We went 5 years without eating any cooked food. And I'll tell you, we had more energy. I'm a person that I have to have 8 hours of sleep a night. Otherwise, I feel burned out, okay? I just got to have my sleep. And sleep is very important, isn't it?
Yes.
And so, especially before midnight, like 9 p.m., 9:30, 10, that's where you get your deep cycles of sleep. And you need to have 2 to 3 cycles of deep sleep before the hour of midnight. Sleep studies have proven that those people who sleep early live longer, have more energy, and have better health. That's a fact. I have a whole lecture on sleep, but we don't have time for that. But anyways, so we decided to go on this diet, and I tell you, we only could sleep. When we first started, we were drinking green juices because we were into juicing, and we were drinking like 16-ounce glasses of pure kale juice and spinach and celery and cucumber. We were into juicing, okay? And so while we were doing this, we were eating a raw diet, and we couldn't even sleep all night long. And I was like, wow, we kept praying, Lord, we can't sleep, what's going on? And the Lord said, you don't need the juices anymore, you're eating raw. Oh yeah, okay, got it. And God showed us, you don't need the juices when you're eating a raw diet. Because you're getting overload of enzymes. You're just getting a lot of nutrition. So we were able to sleep, but only 6 hours a night. And we had tons of energy. And my mind was clearer than ever before. It was absolutely amazing. And being that we live in the Philippines, we went back 10 years ago, and we've been there ever since. We worked in the Philippines for many years before that. But the Lord said, oh, time to go back over and stay over there. So we stayed over there, and in the Philippines, you can't really support a raw diet. And so we eat vegan diet, which is what Ellen White describes in her books. The point is that raw food heals the body and gives you more energy. That's the whole idea of this lecture, okay? So raw food in its natural state is the best as we seek to gain the sinless state that Adam and Eve had before sin. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the program that we do for people who are really sick. And before we get into the specifics of the program, I want to talk about cleansing. Now, how many of you have ever done fasting or cleansing? Anybody? Okay, how many of you have fasted 3 days before? Anybody? 5 days? 7 days? Good. 10 days? Okay, good. Great. So, we're going to talk about that. But before we get into fasting, I want to talk about cleansing. Now, notice this lady on the left. She's got a lot of excess baggage, okay? And she's overweight there, and she's out of shape. Because her intestine, when you see people with a big gut, that's not their stomach. By the way, your stomach is under your left rib, and it's kind of curved, But if you see somebody with a big belly, it's not actually their stomach you're looking at, it's their large intestine that is extended. That means they are constipated and have been so for many years. That means they are not moving their bowel after each meal. If you eat 3 times a day, how many bowel movements a day should you have? 3. If you eat twice a day, like we do, most of the time, although sometimes I eat 3 times, depends on the kind of work I'm doing, then you should have 2 bowel movements a day. Most people move their bowel once a day, once every other day, once every 3 or 4 days, some people once a week. Yes, I have met people, very, very sick people, and I had them visiting the toilet 3 or 4 times in a row in about 1 hour using natural therapies, okay? So, this lady, after cleaning out her intestine, because she was constipated, and what you're looking at is old fecal material and somebody that hasn't done a lot of exercise and eats a poor diet, and notice here, after cleansing her intestine, she's a lot smaller. So when we eat our food, we know it goes down the esophagus, into the stomach, then into the duodenum, down into the small intestine where most of the absorption takes place, and then into the ascending transverse and descending colon and out the door, okay? So that's our digestive tract there, and that's the normal shape of a healthy colon. But if you are constipated, like this poor guy here, he looks like he's 9 months pregnant, huh? And this guy, out of shape, not moving his bowel regularly. But here he is over here after cleaning out his intestine. Notice how small his stomach has, or his gut has become there. Very small. And if you're constipated, you can develop diseases like I had, diverticulitis, which is this one here. You get these little pockets and everything. And you can develop strictures where you sit on the toilet and the poop can barely squeeze through this this little section of intestine, and then on the other end you have colitis, which is where that old fecal material backs up inside of you. And these are the people that sweat and make a lot of noise when they're sitting down on the toilet. And they read about 3 or 4 chapters or even a whole book because they can't move their bowel. Me, I sit down, 30 seconds later it's over with. All right? So, and what is the root of all disease? Constipation. Constipation is the root of all disease. Let me repeat. Constipation is the root of all disease. Yes, you heard me correctly. Constipation, and I'll tell you why. Constipation contributes towards the lowering of body resistance, predisposing it to many acute illnesses and the creation of a great many degenerative and chronic processes. Intestinal constipation causes cellular constipation. Yeah. Oh, look at this. It also increases the workload of the other excretory organs. By the way, these are the diseases of the colon, colitis. These are all due to constipation. Diverticulitis, this is what I had. Spasms, can barely get it through. Strictures, pinched off, almost completely pinched off. It increases the work of the other excretory organs like the kidneys, the skin, the liver, the lungs, the lymphatic system. The functioning of these organs becomes depleted and overworked. Okay? The cellular metabolism becomes sluggish. Repair and growth are delayed, and the ability to eliminate waste materials is lowered. The cells, instead of being alive and active, become dead and inactive. This is taken from the book Tissue Cleansing by Dr. Bernard Jensen. I do not espouse his theological views of God, but he has some great information on health and colon cleansing in the book. But nevertheless, this man here, he's all plugged up, he's constipated, and here he is before and here he is after cleaning out his intestine. One of the ways that we can clean the intestine is what we call using an enema. Have you ever seen this thing before? Yeah. How many of you have used an enema bag before? Okay, some people are shaking. Parang mahiya, you know, no? They're like kind of scared to raise your hand, you know. But actually, it's a hot water bottle. You're familiar with that, right? And the hot water bottle, it comes in a kit. It has this tube that you hook onto the thing there, and you put lukewarm water in it, and it has a hook that hangs the thing. There's the hook there, and you hang it on the bathroom door. You lay on your back, and then the water flows, gravity flow down this tube, and out of this tube, there's a little tip there. This is what you insert into the rectum. And basically, you're putting water into your intestine, and that will help to evacuate the fecal material that refuses to come out due to bad diet and lack of exercise. Okay? So that is one of the ways that you can cleanse your intestine. The other way is by taking a series of colonics, and I'll show that to you a little bit later. I think that's in here. I'm not sure. I think I put it in this lecture. All right. So let's talk about disease. As we're talking about cleansing and cleaning out your colon, let's talk about why we are discussing cleansing, okay? What is disease? Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from a violation of the laws of health. That's what disease is, okay? In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained. That's why we need doctors. If you don't know what's going on with you, you don't know what disease you have, you need to see a doctor and get the medical test done and get a diagnosis, okay? Then she says, so we have to figure out, why did you get sick, right? Unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. This is what we're supposed to do when we're sick. Then, notice this, nature is to be assisted in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. Ministry of Healing, page 127. So when you get sick, what are you supposed to do? What's the first step? Okay? You need to find out what disease do I have. Then you need to find out, the cause should be ascertained. You need to figure out, why am I sick? What did I do that made me have high blood pressure? What did I do that made me have diabetes or fibromyalgia or lupus? Unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Then the body is to be assisted by expelling impurities. Nature is to be assisted. So the word expel impurities, that means to flush out toxins. We call that cleansing, okay? And this principle is found in Scripture. 2 Corinthians 7, verse 1. It says, having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. So cleansing is a biblical principle. It is substantiated by the Word of God, and it is in the Bible. Okay, so there's a physical and a spiritual cleansing that is to go on in our lives, especially when we are sick. We're talking about physical cleansing now, and we know the spiritual cleansing comes by giving our life to Jesus and allowing the Holy Spirit to take control of our hearts and minds. Amen? Amen. But we're talking about physical cleansing in this lecture, so let's talk about fasting. How many of you have heard of Bragg's liquid aminos, Bragg's apple cider vinegar, right? Okay. Now, Paul Bragg was the one that started that company. His granddaughter, Patricia Bragg, owns the company today. Paul Bragg has been dead for many years, but he was a health crusader in the 1950s and 60s. And he writes in his book, The Miracle of Fasting, which is, I definitely recommend this book. It's a good book. He says, fasting is mentioned 74 times in the Bible. Amazing, huh? Fasting puts the body in a condition where all the vital force of the body is used to flush out the causes of body miseries. Wow. Have you ever heard of expel impurities from the system? We just read that in Ellen G. White. And this man never read Ellen White. But he was a Bible-believing Christian, and God showed him a lot of things because he was open-hearted and he believed in the Bible, and he searched the Bible for the health information that's in there. Notice this man here. He had extreme case of advanced neuropathy, which is when you have adult onset diabetes, eventually in the late stages of the disease, the person will lose the feeling in their fingers and in their hands and even in their toes and feet, especially the lower limbs, lower extremities. And they can even get ulcers and bleeding ulcers and a lot of nasty infections going on in their feet because of lack of circulation. This is caused by the nerve damage that is a result of diabetes, okay? And notice this person here on day 1 of juice fasting. Day number 4, we see healing taking place, and day number 7, the feet are completely healed as a result of juice fasting and cleansing the colon, which opens the way for the entire body to completely heal. Now you have a clue what we do in the Philippines, don't you? Now we're going to get into the specifics, okay? So let's talk about fasting. This, I would say, is probably the best book on natural healing that I have ever read. I highly recommend you get this book. This man spoke at the Lodi Health and Healing Crusade by Modern Manna Ministries in California this year. He's a medical doctor, and he's been practicing for many years, and he does primarily fasting with his patients. These are people with heart disease and diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune diseases. And as I was reading this book, I was amazed to find that we have been doing the same thing that this doctor's been doing for 25 years. Dr. Joel Furman, a licensed medical doctor, and he writes this in the book Fasting and Eating for Health. In addition to aggressive dietary changes, which would be in the context of what he's writing here, he's talking about a vegan diet. Vegan means vegetarian, but no dairy products. 100% plant-based diet, nothing from an animal, okay? A physician-supervised fast can be utilized to bring a patient to a new level of cardiac safety. Now he's talking about people with heart disease, okay? Fasting in conjunction with optimal nutrition before and after the fast offers the ability to undo the damage done to the body by the rich diets of modern societies. Through therapeutic fasting, a patient is able to reverse a cardiac condition quickly without the need for invasive medical procedures. You know what he's talking about? Angioplasty, bypass surgery, okay? This is what he's talking about. Medical procedures. The results I have seen in patients using this approach have been spectacular. And when I read that, I said, amen, amen. Because we see it all the time. Fasting allows the body actually to remove the plaque from within the blood vessels and to heal itself in the shortest amount of time. A plant-based diet in conjunction with a properly conducted fast most often leads to a total recovery or a vast improvement in hypertension and angina. These are conditions of heart disease, okay? Now, I can tell you that my wife and I have taken more people than we can count over the last 15 years through fasting, 3-day fast, 2 days raw food, 3-day fast again, 2 days raw food, and usually within the first 5 days, all the people with high blood pressure and diabetes no longer have high blood pressure or diabetes, usually within 5 days. In almost every case. And by the way, I might add, without any medication. And these are people who've been on drugs for 20 years, okay? And some of these people are living in other countries now, preaching what I'm preaching today because they've lived it and they've experienced it, okay? So, like he says, this is amazing stuff. And we've been told in the Bible and the writings of Ellen G. White, if we will go back to God's original plan, we will see miracles happen in people's lives and in their health. All right, so let's talk about fasting for just a minute. What is fasting? It is total abstinence from any solid food, no fiber. A lot of people say, well, if I blend, no, that's not fasting. That's a green smoothie, okay? Blending food is food. All right, we're talking about fasting on juices. So what we do is we take people through a fasting process. We let them juice, like we juice carrots, apples. We don't juice the sweet stuff for diabetics, okay? Diabetics can only be fasted on herb teas, water, and green juices. Pure green juices, I might add. And so that's what we do for diabetics. But everybody else can drink, apples and carrots along with other juices. We juice kale, celery, cucumbers, and all of those. These are some of the juicers that you can see on the market. These centrifugal juicers are not the best ones. Tri-Best 4 is one of the best ones you can get. Green Star, Green Power, those are good juices. The dual gear, the twin gear masticating type juicers are really good. I don't use those juicers. I have a Norwalk juicer, which is the Cadillac of the juicers, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But carrot apple juice is one of the good juices to drink. You can add some greens to that, like spinach, celery, kale, cucumber. These are just some ideas. We use all of them. There are orange juices, like the squash. Yes, you can juice squash raw. And we do it in the Philippines because carrots are expensive sometimes, and they're not available, but squash is everywhere. It grows all over the Philippines, and we use a lot of that. And it's high in beta-carotene, which is the same thing carrots have, okay? So, and then the green juices, which is all the green leafy vegetables. And then the red juices like beets. We use beets a lot. That's good for cleansing the liver. Very good. Green juices, good for diabetics. And if you ever feel like you're coming down with the flu or getting sick, head over to Jamba Juice, ask for a 2-ounce shot of wheatgrass, and then ask for a 2-ounce shot of Ginger Blast, which is basically lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and ginger juiced. That's powerful stuff. I got sick 3 months ago when I came from the Philippines, and got sick on the plane, which I usually never ever get sick, but with the circulating air, recirculating, and maybe somebody was sick on the plane and they gave it to everybody else. I got it, and in 3 days I was over it. Yes?
What was that last drink you mentioned?
Ginger Blast. Yeah, it's basically, they juice lemons and they juice ginger, and then after they get that juice, they add cayenne pepper to it. That's powerful stuff, I'm telling you, really good. And wheatgrass. Wheatgrass, it's a little grass, the whole wheat that we make the bread out of? They juice the grass when it's only this tall. It's 2 inches tall. It's called the milk stage. They juice that, and then that juice has more protein and calcium than any amount of animal food you can put in your body. Okay? That's, in fact, a 1 ounce glass or a 1 ounce shot of wheatgrass has about the same nutritional value as 10 pounds of vegetables. Yes. You do have to quiet. That's why I tell you, what I do, this is what I do. You can do it 2 ways. You can drink it like this. Or you can drink it straight down and chase it with your ginger blast. Don't breathe. After you drink it, don't breathe. Hold your breath, then you drink this one, then you won't taste anything. Yeah, that's the way to take nasty stuff, okay? Don't breathe. Yeah, hold your breath and chase it with something that tastes good, and then you can breathe and you won't taste it. Trust me. All right. So fresh vegetable and fruit juices. This book is written by Dr. Norman Walker. Does anybody here know who Norman Walker was? Anybody? Nobody. Okay. You are looking at the man who invented the juicer. This guy right here. He was dying of cancer in his 50s. He learned about juicing from some people, and he created the first juice extracting machine. And that is called a Norwalk juicer. I'll show you a picture of it in just a minute. And he ate 100% raw diet until the day he died in 1984 at about 113 years old. Free of disease. Yeah. Amazing story. All his books are found in almost every health food store sells these books. I recommend you get all of them and read them. This man had light. I tell you, God taught this man a lot of things. And, Ellen White had the light too, but he talks about it in like what foods can go with what foods and about juicing, and he talks a little, takes what Ellen White principles and puts it in practical description in a way that we can understand it. So anyways, he didn't read Ellen White, but God showed him a lot of things. Very smart guy. And he wrote this book called Fresh Vegetable and Fruit Juices. Very powerful book. But notice, this is the Norwalk juicer. The Norwalk juicer is a two-step juicer. This is the pusher. It's got like this, this wooden stick. And you push your carrot and your apple and your kale and your spinach. You push it down here. There's a blade in the middle that's spinning really fast. And there's a tray that has a screen on it. So it basically pushes all of the produce through this. It grinds it up and pushes it through the screen. And then you have a bowl and you put a cloth, like a 100% cotton cloth. And they actually sell these bags that go on the machine, but that's a big waste of time and it's messy. Forget that. If you buy one of these, don't use the bag. It's a waste of time. I just get a nice cloth and I catch it in a bowl. So you get all the pulp. It's all ground up, but you don't have any juice. It's all still intact, right? So then you put that cloth, you squeeze it, and then you put it in this hydraulic press. You turn the crank on the right here, and the press comes up, and it squeezes against this solid stainless steel plate, and it squeezes the juice. It's cold-pressed, fresh, live juice. And all the enzymes are present. And you get 2 times more juice out of this machine than any other machine. Now, I don't sell these for a living. I'm just telling you what works, okay? But the point is, and by the way, these are very expensive machines. They cost $2,500 brand new. Cadillac of the juicers. I recommend this. If you have cancer, you have to own one of these. It's a must. Yes? Yeah, they're expensive. You can get them used on Craigslist or eBay for about $1,000 sometimes because people don't sell them. It's a lifetime machine. I've had mine. Mine is probably 20 years old. It still works. I left it in the Philippines. I use it for my cancer patients. Yes?
What do you call the machine?
Norwalk juicer. Norwalk. Norman Walker juicer. Norwalk juicer. He's the inventor. 2-step juicer. Great machine. Now they have cheaper machines like the Tribest 4, which is a really good machine. A lot cheaper, and it does produce a lot of good juice as well. So this is just a picture of some of the stuff we juice in the Philippines. This is our version of lettuce over there. It's called pechay. It's a Chinese vegetable that grows over there. This is yakon. This is called, I don't know what you call that in English. What is yakon? Yakon.
Yucca?
No, yucca is different. It's not yucca, it's something else. Huh?
Is it the same as maca?
I don't know if it's maca. I'm not sure if it's maca. But anyways, it's a tuber that grows in the Philippines. And we got cucumber and greens, so we juice that. But anyways, let's move on. Now let's talk about drugs, okay? As I was running to the bathroom this morning, because we always drink a lot of green smoothie before we come to church every Sabbath. We usually don't eat breakfast on Sabbath. We do fasting and we drink green smoothie so that my mind is clear and I can think straight, and it's just a blessing, and I have a lot more energy anyways. but we do eat twice a day. Don't think I'm starving myself. I know I'm skinny. It's the Italian blood. That's where the long nose comes from. All right. So as to drugs being used in our institutions, it is contrary to the light which the Lord has been pleased to give. This is Ellen White writing here in the book Medical Ministry, page 27. The drugging business has done more harm to our world and killed more than it has helped or cured. The light was first given to me, Ellen White is writing here, why institutions should be established. That is, sanitariums were to reform the medical practices of physicians. What is she talking about here?
Didn't happen.
You're right. It didn't happen. God's plan for the Seventh-day Adventists was to establish sanitariums in the country, if you read the books, and these institutions were to teach the health message. And they were to use hydrotherapy, herbs, nutrition, fasting, juicing, raw foods, exercise, sunshine, trust in divine power, and all of that. But instead, we built large institutions in the city, and we call them hospitals. Now, I'm not against hospitals. If you get in an accident, you better run to the hospital. I broke my toe one time, and I said, I got to go to the hospital. My wife said, never mind that. And I ended up wasting $300. All they did was put a piece of tape around it. I should have listened to my wife. But anyways, and my toe is crooked, by the way. So that was a waste of money. But yeah, hospitals, we need them sometimes, right? But God's plan was for us to establish sanitariums that were to reform the medical practices of physicians. In other words, educate away from drugs. That's what the Ellen White says. I should say that's what God says through Ellen White. Can I get an amen to that? Drugs never cure disease. This is her writing here. You know, some doctors, they cringe when I read this statement. And by the way, some of my best friends are doctors. And I have a doctor friend in the Philippines. He uses all natural therapies and all his patients get well. Amen. And he has people from other countries and all over the Philippines going to him for healing. He says, I don't heal anybody. I just do what God says. Eat the right diet, fasting, juicing, raw foods, hyperbaric chamber, we call it far infrared light. There's a lot of things we use in natural healing. They have more advanced technologies now. And we're learning some more of those things now. But drugs never cure disease. That's true. If you don't take your insulin, guess what? Your blood sugar goes up. Insulin doesn't cure your disease. It makes it worse. High blood pressure medication destroys your kidneys, gives you diabetes. Watch my video on reversing diabetes, reversing heart disease naturally. Just uploaded it last week. It's on my YouTube channel. It's a testimony of an 82-year-old man who is a Seventh-day Adventist in Las Vegas that was on high blood pressure medication for years. And he developed diabetes. And then he was taking drugs for that. And finally he changed his diet and completely reversed all his diseases. And he's still alive today and healthy. They only change the form and location. Yeah, that's true. Nature alone is the effectual restorer. And how much better could she perform her task if left to herself? But this privilege is seldom allowed her. 2 selected messages, page 450, paragraph 4. Moving on. Did you know that the United States, it is estimated, according to these organizations all listed down here, that the United States, we in this country, are going to spend approximately $535 billion in drugs alone this year. Billion, I didn't say million, I said $1 billion this year. Another organization predicts that we'll spend $360 billion in the United States alone on drug medication. While medical treatments, Dr. Joel Furman writes, medical doctor, while medical treatments aim at reducing the symptoms and may address some discrete areas of disease, they do little or nothing to remove the underlying illness or stop its progression to an untimely death. On the other hand, fasting treats the entire body. the reason I'm smiling is because we see it all the time. People getting healed, left and right. Page 120. Notice, this guy covered from head to foot with eczema. He's an elder in Mindoro, in the Philippines. And I said, "Madali lang, Brad." I told him, "That's easy, brother." He said, "Really?" I said, "You come to my place. We'll put you on 10 days. That's all gone." "Really?" I said, "Your liver is toxic. You'll come to my place." He came to our place. We had a paying patient because we charge for what we do. The lectures are free, but the treatment, we have to charge for that. We're self-supporting. I don't receive any money from the church. We're self-supporting missionaries. In other words, we're volunteers. We do this by faith. I'm a window washer by trade. I left a good business behind in Sacramento. I was making $300-400 sometimes in a day. I was making, lots of money. But the Lord said, time to put all that away. Go preach the gospel. Not everybody's called to do the same thing, right? But anyways, I told him, "Your liver toxic. Once we clean out your liver, that will go away." "Really?" He said, "Yes." So we had a paying patient, somebody who's rich, has a lot of money. Our program isn't expensive, by the way. And they came, and they were paying, and I said, "Don't tell the other patient that you're free." "Okay, no problem." It's a secret, We don't want people to feel bad, right? So the paying patient, I brought him. He came over. In 10 days, all eczema from head to foot was gone, except a little splotch on the elbow, right here. In 3 weeks, that was gone until now. He was completely healed. He said the itching was so bad that I could not even sleep at night. Tossing and turning, itching all over his body. He did all the creams, the medications the doctors give. They gave him up. They said, "Sorry, we've done everything we can. It's incurable." When you have a skin disease, you know what it is? Toxicity in the liver. Clean out the liver. And guess what happens to the skin? It heals. 10 days. His sister, high blood pressure, fibromyalgia, can't sleep at night, insomnia. Put her in a steam bath. We use a steam bath, portable steam bath. And we put her in a wet sheet pad. This is what Ellen White calls the cold dripping sheet in the book Medical Ministry. Read that book. It'll tell you how to heal sick people. Anyways, in I'd say about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, she was sound asleep. She slept in there for about an hour and a half. This is a person who cannot sleep at night. She's up all night long. Yeah, I had her asleep first day of the program. Put her right to sleep. She graduated. Blood pressure normalized. This lady, high blood pressure, Seventh-day Adventist, taking high blood pressure medications for 20 years. On day number 3, the blood pressure was normal without medication. This is a pastor in the Philippines who went through our cleansing program. And I'll see if I can get it to play for you.
Hey, good morning. I'm here with Pastor Degen with the Central Luzon Conference. And he's going to share with us a little about his testimony. He actually went through the first batch of people, pastors and conference employees who went through the cleansing program last time, and it was a 5-day program. And Pastor Nick, how many kilos did you lose from your waist?
My weight before is 85 kilos and now is 73 kilos.
Wow.
That is 12 kilos.
Yeah, so he lost 12 kilos of weight.
My waist is 43 and now is 37.
Yeah, so you can see his waist, you see?
Yes.
Can you turn to the side, you see? Yeah, you just turn side like that. Before his tummy is bulging out. Malagay dati, no?
Yes,
Ngayon, maliit na. Oh, very good. So it's really amazing. How do you feel? You have
I feel good.
you have more energy?
Light.
Yeah, he feels light, okay, more energy. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yes,
In only
yes,
5 days you
yes.
lost all those kilos, yeah. And he's been maintaining a good diet and everything, exercise.
Plant-based diet.
Plant-based diet. So he's a vegan.
And more is raw.
Yeah,
I
eating a lot of
practice
raw salads,
eating
okay,
raw.
fruits. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
I'm so happy. And you look younger na. Parang, as they say in Tagalog, guwapo.
Yes,
Grabe. Salamat, Pastor.
Yes,
so much.
thank you very much.
Praise the Lord.
Okay, so that pastor went from waist size 42 to 37 in 6 months.
30 pounds he lost? Is that
Yeah.
about 30
No, yeah, he lost about 30 pounds altogether. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. And all he did was change his diet, exercise, and drink green smoothies every day. That's what we're talking about here, right? Okay, we were at an elders convention in Luzon, because I'm an elder in our church, and in Louisiana Laguna. And actually, my best friend is the head elder. But anyways, so we went to this convention for like all the elders in Laguna, and it was being held by some pastors and stuff, and some people from the union came. And after the seminar, I saw this little child outside running around, this little girl. And this little girl had these open sores all up and down her legs and on her arms, and they were oozing pus. And I thought, wow. I said, look at this poor kid, you know? And I knew right away what the problem was. Dirty liver. The liver is not clean. Why? Because of eating candy and drinking soda pop and Coca-Cola and all that stuff, and eating white rice and eating denatured food, you know, and junk food. And I told the mother, I said, come here. I said, where's your mommy? She said, mommy there, mommy there. So she went and got her aunt, who she calls mommy. She's taking care of the kid. And I said, you know, this little girl, I mean, do you know what's causing this? She said, no. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you what's causing it. And I could not conscientiously walk away from there without saying something to these people, because they're in ignorance. They have no clue why that child is sick. And that child, if she doesn't change her diet, is going to have cancer by the age of 5. And maybe even be dead. Because the skin is telling you, hey, we got a problem going on inside here, and you need to do something about it. Okay? So I told the mother, I said, look, no junk food, no candy, no sugar, no fried foods. Give her only fruits and vegetables. If she wants something sweet, let her eat mangoes or bananas or whatever. I said, don't let her eat all of this stuff on the street. That's why she's like that, and that will go away. So praise the Lord. I got a little picture with them. But you know, this is why God has given the health message, to relieve suffering in the world and to purify us as a people. This is in Sushila Church. We do a green smoothie demo, and my wife also teaches the people how to make a salad dressing from coconut. We basically blend the coconut meat with a little bit of water, and then we put bell pepper and carrot and garlic and onion and salt and a little bit of olive oil, and it comes out Thousand Island dressing. Here in the United States, we have nuts and seeds like sunflower, raw sunflower seeds, cashews, but those are expensive over there, and you can hardly get them, and they spoil right away because of the humidity anyways. So the Lord gave my wife wisdom to use the coconut, because the coconut nut is a giant nut, right? Yeah. That's the way my wife tells the story. I told Daryl, you should come up here and do this lecture, honey. Come on. Why don't you come on up here? Sige na. You come and share. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, honey. No, my wife, you know, when I married my wife, she was doing missionary work. So, yeah, praise the Lord. Come on, honey, come share. Sige na. Come on, sweetheart. All right, so this is one of the salad dressings here. We are doing a food demo and showing the brethren. And yes, question, yeah. Yes.
You mentioned about using, I make my own mayonnaise, by the way.
Yeah, we do too.
You use bell peppers, coconut and bell peppers, and what else?
Well, here in the U.S., because in the Philippines we get the fresh coconut, and it has the soft meat on the inside. Here in the United States, you get those really hard ones from Mexico, you know, and you can only make coconut milk out of it. You can't really use the meat of that. If you want to make good mayonnaise, you would blend. What is she going to use? The sunflower seeds, my love. She's going to use cashews. Why don't you come on up here and tell her how to make the mayonnaise? Come on, come on. Come, my love, come on. My wife will give you the recipe. By the way, if you folks ever want to have a cooking class, my wife is really good, I'm telling you. So she's a chef, but she hates me to tell people that, but it's true. Here.
Well, actually, because this was done in the Philippines, like James was saying, I struggled when we first got there because I said, how am I going to teach people how to make dressings? I don't have cashews, I don't have almonds, and if I do, I have to get it at the grocery store, and it's very expensive. And I want to be able to teach the common people out there in the street or on the barangays, out there in the boonies. So the Lord gave me the idea about the coconut. And the Lord says, remember, coconut is a nut. I said, oh yeah, I never thought of that. So now, wherever I have a recipe that calls for nut, I use the coconut. So that's what we did in that picture. We can give the picture of that dressing. That's what we did. And it's not the coconut that you buy here, it's different. It's the young coconut, but it's not the real young one. The one that has a little bit hard meat, but not too hard. Because if it gets too hard, then it's the mature coconut, which has the brown shell. We get it when it's still green, the shell is still green. So it's a little bit hard, but not too hard. And it's creamy, and it has some fat in it, but not too much, because when it's mature and dark, then it's too much fat. And it's too greedy and it's too hard. You cannot blend it as creamy as that one. So what I did with that is, I used the young coconut meat, but it's not too soft, not the sipon, we call it sipon, that's good for eating only. It has to be a little bit more mature than that. I take out the meat, I put it in a blender, and the liquid that I used is pure coconut milk. Now that was the mature coconut. The juice of that is the mature coconut milk, the white milk that comes in a can here, but we get it fresh over there. So we're fortunate. So I use the pure coconut milk as the liquid. That will serve also as the oil, because for diabetics and for heart patients, we do not recommend using any oil. So the coconut milk is okay because it's fresh, it's not saturated fat. So I use that as the liquid, and it makes a really nice creamy dressing. And then we put bell pepper, that gives the color, garlic, that gives it a little bit of a spice, a little bit of salt, and then lemon, calamansi in the Philippines. We do have a lot of lemons there now. And a little bit of apple cider. If we are using apple cider, there's controversy on either side, so you can decide if you're gonna use apple cider or not. And you just blend that, and it makes a nice creamy dressing. Yes?
Do you put ginger also?
Not necessarily on a dressing, but with that dressing, you take out the bell pepper and you just make it plain without any color, and add a little bit more coconut milk to make it creamier, and you get a mayonnaise. Less liquid. And also, if you put Italian seasoning on that dressing without the bell pepper and the carrots for color, then you have a ranch dressing. So that's a variation that you can do with that dressing. Yes?
If you want coconut, that you are saying Walmart has it. They carry some, it's pricey though, and Cedar Brothers. That's where we buy our coconut.
Okay, you can use that.
Yes.
It's a matter of how you open it.
Yes.
I'm used to opening it, so
Yes.
I'm scared, but I can open it. You will have to take it to your house. Oh yeah.
Or you come over and visit us in the Philippines, and we'll give you lots of coconuts.
By the way, I have a video on my YouTube channel, how to open coconut.
Yes.
I'm serious.
Actually, we saw that. We saw some in Florida on our trip, because we just got back east, from traveling back east, and we saw some young coconuts on the stands there in some of the stores. So that was nice to see. But our coconuts in the Philippines seems to look a lot bigger and better. Seems like, yes.
Are you gonna tell us, since we have trouble getting the coconuts rather than nuts?
Yes.
That's what I was
Okay.
gonna say.
Okay. To substitute for the coconut, you use cashews. And what you do is you soak the cashews first for at least an hour. And actually, any kind of nuts, I would recommend. We recommend, and the health advocates, they recommend soaking your nuts first, because that releases the enzyme inhibitors. which means that the Lord has put the enzyme inhibitors in the nuts and the beans so that it prevents it from sprouting. But once you put water in there, then that releases that. That means it's ready to grow. So that means that it's a lot easier to digest the nuts and the seeds and the beans once you soak them. And it makes a lot creamier dressing anyway. So soak your nuts and your seeds before you make your dressing. You can also use, because cashews is very expensive, so what I do is I mix nuts. Like I said, you can experiment and you can go wild with the food that God has given us. And the thing is, what I encourage mothers and those who prepare food, God is not only a physician, God is not only a master builder or carpenter, God is also a cook. And I've noticed that in my experience in the kitchen, God can teach us more than all the chefs and the master cook out there. Because as I'm sitting in my kitchen trying to think of how I'm gonna do this, God will tell me, you add this, you add that. And I'm like, that sounds weird. But when I do and I follow what God is trying to tell me, I come up with something great. Just like the coconut. See, I never thought of that, but God knows. Yes.
I'm so sorry because I missed something there and I was kind of interested in this. The soaking of the nuts.
Yes.
We don't boil it like we would beans. We just soak it.
Yes, just soak them.
Overnight.
Soak them. Actually, it's better overnight. But if you don't have much time, 1 or 2 hours, that's okay. So long as it's soaked in water, and that will release the enzyme inhibitors.
And then we smash it and add seasoning.
Yes, blend it. Blend it.
Got it.
Yes. Okay. So, any other question about the dressing?
It goes in the mayonnaise, it's just cashews and seeds.
Yes.
You can also do raw sunflower seeds as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can add because like I said, cashew is very expensive. So what I do is I add a little bit of sunflower seeds without adding too much to change the taste or to alter the taste, so that it's not too expensive.
How about avocados for dressing?
Yes, avocado makes a nice avocado dressing and avocado mayonnaise also. Avocado, you just add a little bit of olive oil to that avocado, and it makes a nice avocado mayonnaise. Yes, very nice. And you know what? When we were eating raw, we were using avocados for making, I was telling the sister there, chocolate fudge cake. And it makes a nice creamy, you just actually basically blend or put that in the food processor, the real ripe avocado, add some carob in it, and then sweetener, whatever sweetener you're gonna use, and it makes a nice fudgy pie or cake. Yes, and pudding. You add a little bit more liquid and it makes a pudding. What I do in the Philippines is the avocado I add instead of just the sweetener, I add pure coconut milk in it. And once you set it in the fridge, it sets really nice and slices like a cake. Very nice. And it's raw. I didn't have to cook it. We didn't have to cook it. So anyways, these are some more pictures of people that went through the program, went through the cleanse or detox, and that have gotten over their illnesses or their sicknesses or problem. This guy was, his family is actually Seventh-day Adventist, and they brought him to us, and he's a smoker. He's addicted to smoking. And he failed the medical exam for his work because he has high blood pressure and heart problems. So he came to us, and in 10 days, he was doing the wet sheep pack, the wet sheeping treatment that James was talking about. That detoxifies actually the nicotine out of his body through the skin. So after the steam bath, we wrap him in a cold sheet. That sheet that's soaking in ice water actually. And then we wrap him in that, and then after that cover him with dry sheet, and then blankets over that, and he's hot, right? He's hot from the steam bath, and then you put the very, very cold sheet over him, then his body heats up even more, and he sweats in there. And with that sweat comes out the nicotine. And so in 10 days, he was a non-smoker. So
And his high blood pressure.
yeah, everything went normal and he's back to work up to now. That was 2012. Up to now, he's still working
6
fine.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this lady has the one on the left had rheumatoid arthritis really bad. You can see the hands and her knees were really bad. She was walking really. She was having a hard time walking, and so she recovered. It was not that remarkable after 10 days, but when she went home, she continued, following the program that we told her to follow, and she recovered. And then the other lady had problems with the uterus, and she went through the program also, and she recovered also. And these ladies, they have problems with high blood pressure and heart problems, and they're not Adventists.
They got off of it.
You know what? I want to tell you this because we're all Seventh-day Adventists, but our best patients are the ones that are not Seventh-day Adventists, and that's very sad. And
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
well, because what do you mean by that? Because when we tell them, you should not eat this, you should not eat that, they say, oh, okay, we'll do that. But the Seventh-day Adventists, but didn't God say, right? You all know, we've been there, we've done that too. And the thing is, all those pictures from the beginning that James was showing are people that have recovered and are healing diseases all over the world, and they are not Seventh-day Adventists. And we're supposed to be the one that are doing it. We're supposed to be the one that are healing the world. It was sad that we had to go to a raw Sacramento group to learn about raw food. And most of them, half of them, if not more than half of them, are New Agers. We're supposed to be the ones that are teaching them. So that's sad. And so that's why I want to talk to you heart to heart about it, because we are Seventh-day Adventists. And the reason why, like I said, James, why do we travel this far? We want to go to all our churches to share this. You know why? I have 2 classmates that just died. James shared. The last one in the picture this morning when we were singing, that was my classmate. She just died a month ago. Oh no, 2 months, just before we came here to the United States. Cancer, 4th stage lung cancer. Born and raised Seventh-day Adventist. Before she died, we had a classmate that just died of a heart attack at my age. So I said, we need to be more passionate and more active in sharing this with our own people. Because God did not plan for our Seventh-day Adventist people to be dying of heart disease, heart attack, cancer. We need to be healing the world. Yes.
What is your program for rheumatoid arthritis?
Okay. That's a good question. We're going to get into the specifics in just a few minutes, so hold your question. I will tell you this. You know how passionate we are about this? If you invited us to New York, I'd be there tomorrow. That's how I'm serious. We were invited to go to Rhode Island. We were in Southern California doing a whole series of lectures for a whole week. And this guy came to the meetings and he said, are you willing to go to Rhode Island? I was like, yeah, we'll go to Rhode Island. Yeah. And I was thinking, yeah, right. I've had a lot of people tell me a lot of things, and I don't take it seriously until I see action. Because a lot of people talk big, but this guy kept saying, are you willing to go to Rhode Island? Yeah. Then he said, oh, let's go to lunch tomorrow. So we went to lunch on Monday. We went to this nice Thai restaurant. He bought us lunch, and he looked me in the eye and he says, so are you ready to go to Rhode Island? I said, what do you have in mind? And he says, well, I have some relatives there. I know this guy that's going to do an evangelistic meeting, and he's willing to have you do lectures, and I want you to share with my relatives. They're all Catholics. I want you to share with the whole family. They're sick. They got health problems. I said, okay. I said, if you're willing to pay all the expenses, of course. He said, how much you need? He wrote me a check. I said, okay, we're leaving for Rhode Island. We left 2 days later. We were on our way to Rhode Island. We spent 5 weeks traveling back east, and then we're here. Now we're here. I haven't even worked since I've been here. I've been 3 months here. So I've been busy. We got a car. I've been busy with my kids, and then we've been doing missionary work. Because they invited us all the way to Rhode Island just to give health lectures. And we met a lot of sick people there. And then we went to Florida. We spoke in a church there. Then we went to Tennessee and spoke in a church to some people there, Adventists. Then we went to Arizona. We'll be doing a seminar there in probably September. Then Las Vegas. We got invited to go there. So wherever God sends us, we're willing to go. You know, we live in the Philippines. How far is that? That's 8,000 miles from here. So, you know, we put God first, and wherever God sends, that's where we're willing to go. So we take this very seriously because people are sick. And I'll let my wife continue. You're doing great, honey. I'll root for you.
Yeah, she was asking about the rheumatoid arthritis. So actually, basically the program that he has been sharing all along. But in a little while, he'll give more specifics. This lady here had that. She actually was so crippled with arthritis that she could not walk anymore. So what they did was they carried her on a chair into the house where we were doing the detox program, and we started her into juicing, raw foods, and cleansing, cleaning the colon and all that. And did we do a 5-day there, 10 days? I think it was 10. After that, she was able to walk with a cane. But then she continued, and after a month or so, then she was able to walk without any cane. So she totally recovered. And that was her daughter. She's probably, how old is she there?
I don't know, but she's 21 now.
Yeah. She's 21 now, so that's an old picture.
Yeah. This is recent.
That's what one is recent, just before we came here to the United States. That's the last batch of the conference workers that we did. And this is a sister of the secretary of the Central Luzon Conference. The brother. The sister asked him to join the program, and he did because he has gallstones and he was suffering from it. He was having a lot of pain, and that's what came out after the.
He got rid of his gallstones.
Yes.
In 4 days.
That's the 4th day it came out.
No need surgery. Look at that. Gallstones. Wow. They come out. If you know how to flush them out, they come out. We've had many people scheduled for surgery go through the cleanse program, fasting, flush the intestine, flush the gallbladder, the liver, and they never had to have surgery.
And they were gonna
Clear.
charge him 60,000 for the operation. So.
I told them just go on vacation. Never mind paying the doctor.
Oh, you wanna share about him?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, this guy is an elder in Cavite, which is in Manila, and we spoke at his church 6 years ago. And he came to us just before we left the Philippines, and he said, "I need your help." And I said, "Oh, okay. So what's going on?" He said, the doctors aren't sure what I have, but they think that I have advanced rheumatoid arthritis. They thought it was lupus at first, autoimmune disease. But they said, because I have a lot of pain, and I'm taking, the sister, what? Oh yeah, his sister died of lupus, so they thought he had lupus too. But anyways, he had a lot of pain. He was on pain medications, taking the maximum dosage that a person can take of this pain medication that he was taking. And he said, he said, the pain medications, I started out with half a tablet. Now I'm taking 3 a day, and I can't even take anymore, otherwise it's overdose. And it doesn't even phase my pain. I'm in pain, so much pain that I cannot even work anymore. Or drive. I said, okay, you'll come up here. 10 days. So, they had all the medical tests, but the results weren't in. I said, never mind the results. We're just going to treat you as if you have advanced rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or whatever. The program is the same, actually. So, we put him on a 10-day cleanse. The first 3 days, I let him drink pure juices. Carrot apple juice, green juices, and all of that. And then I let him eat for 1 day raw food. That was only as a mental pacifier. He didn't need to eat anything. But just so that he will not think that, he's being tortured or what, So I let him eat. He said, oh, this is so good. And I kept saying to us, oh yeah, you just wait. Tomorrow you're fasting again. Anyways, so then I told him, so towards after lunch, as he's, eating and enjoying his salad, I said, I got good news for you. He said, what's that? You're fasting again tomorrow. I said, oh, okay. Because she wants to get rid of the pain, right? And I said, but you're going to do water fasting. He said, oh, really? I said, don't worry. I've done water fasting twice. Once for 7 days and once for 4 days. Trust me, you can handle it. He said, okay. So I put him on water fasting for 4 days. And just as a pacifier, I give him coconut juice. It has sugar in it. It's natural. And he's, oh, this is good. I can have some more. I say, here, drink some more, you know. He's like, oh, this is good. I like it. But water fasting is the most powerful form of fasting. But if you've never fasted on juices for like 3, 5, 7 days, don't do water fasting. Trust me, you won't make it. It's really hard. Anyways, so he laid in bed for 4 days with the blinds drawn shut. He would go out in the morning and take sunbathing, and I would let him just drink water and herb tea all day long, and he would just lay in bed watching sermons on YouTube and praying and reading the Bible and sleeping. He was kind of like in a cave for like 4 days, you know. And then the last day of the 10-day cleanse, I said, okay, today you're going to eat. He said, oh, good, okay, great. And he was doing coffee enemas every day. I know that sounds weird. That's another topic. But anyways, to cleanse and detoxify the liver. And you know what? At the end of 10 days, almost all the pain was completely gone. And he was off of all pain medication and was able to sleep during the 10 days. So we took him off the pain medication right away. How do we kill pain? Coffee enema. Okay? Fasting. Yes.
The coffee shouldn't be.
No, you don't drink coffee. No, coffee enema. Enema is this way, not this way. But yeah, for clarification, Elamite says coffee is not good for you. But when we do a retention enema, it basically creates a reaction, an enzymatic reaction in the liver called L-transferase, and it boosts that enzymatic reaction 600 to 700% more than normal. It dilates the bile ducts, and it brings all the toxins in the liver out through the portal vein into the intestine, and you flush it out the next morning with colon cleansing. Yes?
Going back to water fasting.
Yes.
For someone who have GERD, worse than acid reflux, is that advisable?
Absolutely. Water fasting, yes.
Even the person has GERD,
GERD, what's that?
The severe acid reflux.
So we have acid reflux, we have heartburn, and then we have GERD.
Okay, never heard that, sorry.
It's like it's a step, but it's something more.
Okay. Well, let me tell you this. You know, I've treated people that had diseases I never even heard of, and they got well. So I'm just telling you, fasting is the best thing for most every patient, and fasting allows the body to heal. So these people, number one, they need to change their diet. That's the foundational program. But to hasten the healing process, these people need to do some fasting. If they can keep liquids down, they need to do fasting. Absolutely, yes.
Oh, just to enforce, because when I do fasting, I haven't started juicing so I think that will, because I have acid reflux, so I just have water for my fasting. I don't do, because I consider when I have the juicing, it's not fasting.
Okay.
So I have to try that.
Yeah, juicing is fasting, but the true fasting is water fasting in reality, yes. Yes, yes.
I asked that question because my daughter here
Okay.
had lupus since 2006.
Okay.
She had GERD.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard for her to swallow the food.
Right.
It seems like it's stuck there.
Okay.
How about liquids?
And how about liquids?
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Okay, you should drink green smoothies several times a day.
And I do the juice fast.
And you should do some juice fasting too. Start with the 3-day. It's real easy. And I'm going to put the program on the screen, so you want to take a picture of that. Yes.
Back 2009 from Las Vegas, we moved to Sacramento.
Right.
Providence.
Okay.
She went to UR for treatment.
Okay.
And she became vegan since then.
Okay. Let me say this. Weimar is a great program. Okay, but it's very expensive. However, let me add this. It's not enough for a lot of people. Okay, and I'll tell you why. To change your diet is great, but it's like this. If your body is toxic and you just keep putting more food into it, even if it's good food, how much do you think you're going to absorb if your intestine is impacted with old fecal material and your liver is toxic? What do you think's going to happen? Are those people going to heal? The answer is no. And I'll tell you, a lot of people do heal, just changing diet and doing exercise and everything, and new start, right? But a lot of people don't. Now there are people that are diabetic who change their diet and they don't get well. Why is that? Because they need to do fasting in order to rejuvenate the pancreas and to increase their insulin sensitivity and to clean out their colon, their lymphatic system. Those people have to do fasting. And for the most part, as of years ago, I don't live here in this country anymore, Weimar wasn't fasting their patients. Now, whether they're doing that or not, I don't know. But I will tell you this. I have a friend that ran a lifestyle center for 20 years, and a lot of her patients came from Weimar because they didn't get well. Not because the program is bad, it's just that they weren't doing fasting with their patients, okay? And I'm telling you, this is the approach that we take. It's a little different. I'm not saying it's a bad program, it's a good program, but it's not for every single patient, okay? And we take really, really sick people and we put them on fasting and they get really, really well, really, really fast.
He was only
Yes.
He was on an 18 days treatment, but she went through fever baths. I don't know if you
Yeah, we do that too. We do, the steam bath, it's the same thing. And then we put them in a wet sheet pack, and that increases the white blood cell count, rejuvenates the immune system. It's the same thing, it's hydrotherapy. Yes?
So basically, what I understand from everything I have studied and everything of Weimar and all that,
Right.
it's all about the money now, right? Just like all our other hospitals that were supposed to be sanitarians.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't answer that, but because I don't know their motives, and I don't know the people that work there and what they're thinking about what they're doing. I think a lot of these people honestly think that their program is the best. But I'll tell you, a lot of their patients don't get well. And I know that because a friend of mine in California ran a lifestyle center for 20 years. And a lot of her patients came from Weimar and other institutions that I won't name that didn't get well. And when they went through the 10-day cleanse, which is the same program we're doing, they get well. I'm just telling you. So the thing is, this guy changed his diet. He was vegan, but he's still in pain. He changed his diet. He's still in pain. So how are you going to heal this patient? Fasting. Imagine, out of 10 days, he did 7 days of fasting and he got well. You see? So that's the point. All right, here's the program. All right, so this is called a 3-day juice fast. This is just real simple, okay? I'm not going to get into like the heavy 10-day program we do and all that. I'm not going to do that, okay? But this is something that you can do at home. You can hold your question for just a few minutes and then we'll come back to you, okay? Because it might be answered in what I'm sharing here, all right? You can do carrot apple juice. These are just combinations that you can use. Green juices would be like, here in the U.S. it would be kale, cucumber, celery, jicama, some unripe pineapple for diabetics. You can use celery, green apples. Those are good for diabetics as well. Vegetable juice would be something like this: carrot, apple, cucumber, tomatoes, celery, and squash, something like that. No? These are just some combinations that you can use. All right? If you have a cell phone, you might want to snap a picture of that instead of writing it down. If you have a cell, believe me, it's a lot easier and it'll save you a big headache. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, take a picture. Wag na yung pen. Mahirap yun, di ba? It's very difficult. Huh? Sorry. Yeah, we're millennials. My wife says, "You're how old are you? Oh, you're a millennial. Okay." Yeah, take a picture. Go ahead. This is a vegetable in the Philippines. Ignore that. Bok choy. Yeah, bok choy cabbage, spinach. What's that? Singamas is jicama. We call it jicama. It's a root crop. It's round and it's got this brown skin, and then you peel the skin off and it's white inside. It's kind of like a turnip, but it's like a big turnip, And of course, you can include sugar beets. Sugar beets are very good for cleansing the liver. Okay, everybody got it? All right, next picture. So every day of fasting, you're going to drink 8 ounces of juice per hour throughout the day while fasting. In between, you're going to drink water and herbal teas. Never mind pito pito baraba. That's for Philippines, okay? So you're going to drink herbal tea in between juices. All right? So every hour you have a juice, a nice tall glass of juice every hour. I tell people 8 ounces. When I fast, I drink 16 at least. Yeah, I can't get by with 8, but 8 is a minimum, okay? Every hour. And in between, you have to drink a lot of water. Very important. After each day of fasting, you are going to take an enema. In Tagalog, we call that lavativa. With lukewarm water in the morning to cleanse and detoxify the colon. You do about 2 to 3 bags of water to completely evacuate your intestine, okay? Yes.
It's very important. It's very important. This is a must. When you do a fast or a cleanse, you have to clean the colon every day, every morning. So that's a must. Any health books or those people, the health advocates, they teach people that you have to do the cleansing of the colon every day. We actually don't use an enema. We use something else, but prune juice will help you go, but not totally. It will just help you move your bowels more. Unlike the enema, it's like somebody uses an illustration. If you're gonna wash clothes in the washing machine, are you gonna use just a glass of water? No, you're gonna fill up the washing machine, run that, and then flush it out, and then put some more water. So that's basically what you're doing when you do an enema.
Another illustration. Okay, let's going back to the difference between just changing your diet and fasting. Okay, let me explain this, and you'll want to get this illustration. If you have a dirty sponge, that dirty sponge has lots of cells in it. Hundreds of thousands of cells, maybe even millions of cells, little tiny cells in there, those fibers. And that dirty sponge, you want to clean off the counter. You don't just run the sponge underneath the water. That's not going to do any good. You have to squeeze all the dirty water out of the sponge first, and when you let go, guess what happens? It will absorb the clean water faster, and it will be cleaner than before, right? Well, that dirty sponge represents our body. Our body becomes so toxic from all the pollution and the bad food we've eaten and the times that you were too busy watching YouTube and you didn't want to have a bowel movement and you just held it in and then it finally went away, okay? So that's the dirty sponge. So the way that we're going to squeeze that is through fasting, colon cleansing, liver detox, juicing, and all of that. Steam bath. We're squeezing the sponge. That's why a lot of people who change their diet only and don't do fasting and detoxifying don't get well. Okay?
Or they do get well, but it takes longer.
Yeah, or they do get well, but it takes them 6 months or whatever. We see results in 5-10 days. Okay? Breaking the fast. Let's talk about that. Day number 4 and 5 of the cleanse, you would eat fresh, ripe fruits, preferably juicy fruits like watermelon, melon, papaya, mango. These are the fruits that have a lot of high water content. And these are the kind of fruits that you want to eat after fasting for 3 days on juices. Okay? Then, you can also have some little oatmeal. Well, skip that. Yeah.
Because in the Philippines, it's sometimes there's seasons there's only a little bit of fruit, so we kind of have to supplement it with a little bit of oatmeal. But here in the United States, you can basically do all raw. And what we use in the raw food world is the chia seeds. You soak that with some of your almond milk. Make your almond milk fresh. You make it yourself, it's better. And then you soak that overnight in the refrigerator in a bowl. And then when soak that overnight, that's your cereal. And then you just put fresh fruits on top of that. Or you can do the raw oat groats. That one is raw. Because you know the rolled oats that we buy in the store, even though it's the whole rolled oats, that's already been steamed, so it's already cooked. So you can do the oat groats, and that's raw, and you soak that also, and you have raw cereal. So you can do that, so that you can have a fresh fruit, and that's raw coconut cream, because that was done in the Philippines. So that's blended coconut, fresh coconut. Yes?
Can we use citrus? Yeah, I haven't heard you talk much about citrus, and it's got a lot of juice, and it's acidic.
Yes.
Is it one of the...
Yes. Actually, when we do the 10-day cleanse, we don't do a lot of the citrus in the first 5 days because a lot of people are very, very acidic, and all the citrus, it's considered as acid fruits, but in the system, it's also alkaline. But that reacts to people that are very acidic. So, but after 3 days of fasting and then 2 days of raw, the 6th day, we let them drink the lemon juice or the lime juice already, and they're okay with it. But if you do that the first day, some people throw up because they're that acidic. So after alkalinizing their system for a while, then you can do those citrus fruits. Yes?
Calamansi is very rarely here. Can it be
That's actually lemon. That because this was for the Philippines, this lecture was for the Philippines, so we put their calamansi. And you substitute lemon juice or lime. Or lime.
Yeah. If the patient is diabetic or has heart disease, no olive oil. We recommend no oils for people with diabetes or heart disease. And years ago, we used to give olive oil to patients, but after further study, reading Dr. Joel Furman's book and some other books, they all say that even Caldwell Esselstyn says no oils for heart disease patients. Okay? And there's a reason for that. Their body can't process that properly, so it's best not to use the oils. Now, they'll get natural oils from eating, they even say avocados. They say even avocados is not good for the people with high blood pressure. So, yeah, we're talking about people who are sick. Me, I eat avocados like they're grown out of style. I can eat 3 or 4 at a time. But people who have heart disease and people who've been on medications for years, these people, you have to treat them differently because they don't process things very well. And that's why they're sick in the first place. So, and their diet before is poor. So, again, the olive oil and the salt, definitely not for the people who have heart disease, okay? And so, we want to eat raw salads in the afternoon. We would put kale, celery, cucumber, you can put some tomatoes, some onions. Onions are great, by the way. Onions are really good, especially when they're raw. And so you want to eat raw salads. And then you can also do like veggie sticks. You know, you can blend your own dressing, like what we were talking about earlier, which is a raw dressing. And then you can dip that with celery, carrots, cucumbers, jicama, and things like that.
Yes.
You know the joy of veggie?
Yes.
I never had it raw.
Yes, that's, just look at the picture, is that after?
Wow.
There, that one is raw pechay. Actually, like in the churches, that's why we like to do a food demo after the lecture in the afternoon. Because we don't want people to just see it by looking here, but we want them to taste it.
Yeah.
So we do the salad, we show them, we said, what? We're gonna eat that raw? Especially in the Philippines. Nobody wants to eat raw gulay in the Philippines. They're afraid. Especially the old people, oh, that's gonna ruin your system. Don't eat anything raw. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
So we show them that it can be done and it's good and it's okay. It's not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So,
Going back to the food joy. I'll just keep it up there. But also the white.
yes.
Yeah, we chop it
It was
up.
right there, see? The whole thing.
Yeah, it's all right here.
And they're like, they taste it and it's like, wow, I didn't know you can eat this raw.
This is cucumber with avocado, tomato, and onion, and some lemon and salt on top. And here's the pechay salad.
Yeah, see?
Pechay, oh,
You see the stalk? We have the whole stalk
right there.
there.
Oh. We eat the whole thing. These plants were meant by God to be eaten raw.
Amen.
Actually, especially if you grow your own greens, they taste a lot better than if you buy them in a store. They're actually sweet. There's a sweetness to it. When you buy it from the store because of the pesticides and whatever they put in it, it tastes bitter. But when you're growing your own, they taste sweet and crispy and there's no bitterness in it. Yes.
Sister Daryl,
Yes.
are you aware of the vegetable? Because I have tons of them in my garden. They are called colitis.
Yes, that's very good. That's the wild spinach.
I don't know how to eat them. It's a lot. I have a lot.
The green smoothie that we showed, use that put it in the blender, use it in green smoothie. That's good, lightly steamed, and that's good raw also. You just marinate. I think I call it wild spinach. We call it wild spinach in the Philippines. Amaranth, yeah, amaranth. See, those are the greens that they used to make breads out of those, the seeds of those. Yes.
one.
No, white rice. No, I didn't mention white
No,
rice.
white what?
Did I say white?
You said white spinach.
I said wild spinach. Wild.
Oh, wild.
Wild. Yes.
I'm gonna start sharing because I didn't even plant them. It just
Yes.
oh my God.
Oh, by the way, talking about green smoothies and the benefits of greens, we learn, and you can read it in Botenko's Victoria Botenko's books. She says that the wild greens are higher in vitamins and mineral contents, so they're best. Actually, if you remember, our ancestors, our lolos and lolas, especially our lolas, they used to gather wild greens from our backyards. Nowadays, nobody eats that stuff. We need to go back and learn the Indians. The Indians eat the wild greens. But now, nobody dares touches the wild. But because they're very high in vitamins and minerals. Yes. Well, they do, in fact, the health food store, sometimes they do classes on how to know which are the wild greens that are edibles. There's books, there's classes online, and they say if the birds and the animals eat them, they're okay for you. So that's one of the safe way to determine. Pako, wild fern, that's a favorite in the Philippines, and we eat it raw. And that's raw foods also. That's radish salad, raw. Daikon, we call it here. That's a raw cake. That's not cooked. Another raw cake.
Do you have a recipe for raw cake?
We don't have one here.
Actually, we do a cooking class, but we charge for that. It's not expensive, but if you folks would be interested sometime to do a cooking class, we have a whole bunch of recipes, and we actually make the food and then we eat the food. So that's what we do. That's more on educational, how to make these kind of things, how to make elaborate desserts. My wife is really good in doing that. So.
But there are a lot of recipe websites with a lot of raw recipes. It's actually, like I was saying, back in the day when we started eating healthy, there's not a lot of stuff out there. So people that are gonna eat healthy nowadays are fortunate because even Walmart carries health food stuff now. Back in the day, you have to go to the health food store to buy anything healthy. But what's interesting is I saw a post recently. It says, if there's a health food section in the grocery store, what does that make the other food in the grocery store?
The unhealth food sections.
So,
Some people cannot afford to buy organic, so some are sprayed.
Yes.
What do we do with them? How
Yeah.
do we wash them?
yes, that's a question that we always get. First, the best solution is what God gave us long time ago. We're supposed to grow our own food. When you grow your own food, it's basically free, right? Except your labor and whatever you're gonna, but that's not much. But if we are not able to do that yet, we can soak them in apple cider vinegar and some salt, baking soda and some salt, lemon and some salt, charcoal and some salt, charcoal. We do those things, and we recommend people to do that because that will absorb the toxic out of them. Yeah, and there's some vegetable washes also.
I have two questions. You call it daikon,
Yes,
and what it,
radish,
White radish.
white radish.
it's a white. It doesn't have red on the outside?
No, that one is white.
No, that's a different one. It's in the same family, but that's a different
No,
one.
it's long.
Daikon is a long white
It's
radish.
long radish, yes.
Labanos.
Yeah, labanos in the Philippines.
My second question, is what you were talking about just now.
Yes.
I've already forgotten.
about the organic food. How can you afford?
Soaking it.
Yes, soaking it in like 15 to 20 minutes so that it will take out the pesticide and the fungicide or whatever.
You're not talking about cooking it.
No. Soaking it in the lemon and salt or baking soda. And lemon, yeah, a little bit of salt. Like washing it, but soak it first so that it will absorb all the fungicide and pesticide. And another way is go to the farmer's market. Because the produce in the farmer's market is affordable, and sometimes actually, especially when we used to live in Sacramento, we go right before they close at 11 o'clock or close to 12, and everything is $1 a bunch, so you can't beat that. So that's cheaper than even if you're going to the grocery store. Or know your local farmers. They would work with you. They would be willing to share with you food that they will basically waste. So if there's a will, there's a way.
Okay, in closing, remember, God gave us this health message because He wants us to save us from a premature death. God wants us to live long, that's true, and happy and a healthy life. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, not in the dirt. Okay, so God wants us to be healthy and He wants us to be happy. One of the first duties of the physician is to educate the masses not to take medicine, according to William Osler, 1849 to 1919, described as the father of modern medicine. Again, this is our information, so we'll take a couple more questions and then we'll close. It's been a long meeting, and I'm sure. Yes?
What are your thoughts about alkaline water?
Okay, what is my thoughts about alkaline water? Well, a lot of people say that alkaline water is better for you. If you feel better in drinking it, then drink it. I don't know. I have mixed views about that. I have a friend who's a doctor who told me that all water is the same. Why would you drink alkaline water when the environment of your stomach is acid? And I said, exactly, and I tend to agree with that. But I'm not knocking people that sell alkaline water. If that's what they believe, let them sell it. I personally don't buy it. I don't use it. I drink just regular distilled or purified water. In the Philippines, we get our water from the mountains, and it's the best tasting water ever.
Because I don't think that God would really require us to spend like $5,000 just so we can have pure water and to be healthy. I don't know. But we're not knocking them down either. So it has helped a lot of people according to them. So just do it if it will make you feel good or will make you feel healthier. What was it?
Oh, Victorville. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, the town that I live in, we won't touch the water. I don't use it. I drive 20 minutes to the next town, and I fill up 5-gallon jugs, about 5 or 6 of them, and that lasts me for almost a week. And that's what I drink. Wherever there's good water, that's where I'm going. If there's no good water in this town, don't drink it. Go to there and get your water and bring it over here. That's what I do. Yeah, purified water is the best, especially here in the United States, because, the stuff that comes out of the faucet, I wouldn't want anybody to drink that, but it's good for bathing and flushing the toilet and stuff like that, but I wouldn't drink that stuff. So, they put a lot of stuff in the water, fluoride, which eats your brain cells. I mean, you don't want to drink that stuff. It's poison, actually. It's not the best thing for you. Do some research as to which is the best quality water, and then drink that. Bottled water is not the best thing. Those little plastic bottles, because those plastic bottles, it leaches chemical residues from the plastic into the water. That's also not good for you. But if that's all you have, then just pray and ask God to bless it. I mean, that's, we do the best we can. I mean, we live in a toxic world. It's a really mess. So, We do the best we can. We get the best food, the best water. But I encourage people. I've seen people in the Philippines. They'll in our town, they'll go to the market and they'll say, "Oh, how much are the tomatoes?" They'll say 50 pesos. We say, "Oh, wow, it's expensive. Can you just give it for 30?" And then these are the same people that live in houses that are worth millions of pesos. And I'm like, man, they're complaining about 20 pesos and they live in a house that's like 20 million pesos, And I'm like, I would rather spend all that money in the food I'm putting in my body than in the house that I'm living in and have cheap food, you know what I'm saying? So I look at it that way. I spend a lot of money. I have thousands of dollars in natural equipment that I use to help other people. I buy the best food that I can get. I drink the best water I can get. I even make, like I said, a trip once or twice a week to get water. Because I won't drink the water in our town. It tastes horrible. I know it's not good. So the thing is, like they always say, put your money where your mouth is, So you definitely want to spend money on good food and good water. Because our body is the temple of God. Yes. So invest in that. Yes.
Along those lines, that's what I told my husband when I wanted to have a whole meal, and he was complaining about the cost. I said it's a lot cheaper than a nursing home. Just a quick little anecdote about the water. About 7 years ago, a sister from the church, local church here, persuaded me to try some alkaline water. So I did so reluctantly. Just call it coincidence. 12 hours later, I was in the emergency department, diagnosed with hopeless, and I had to have emergency surgery to intervene my hormone test.
Oh my. All because of alkaline?
What were you diagnosed with? Did you have to have surgery?
Hopeless. Hopeless. My testes just get twisted.
Wow. Because of the alkaline water or what? Maybe, huh?
Yeah,
Well, we do get a.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I drink alkaline water, I get a headache every single time. And my body is clean. I've fasted for years. Now, I don't fast but once a year, okay? And I eat a lot of food. I eat like a horse. I am skinny. I probably damaged a lot of things in my system with drugs many years ago. But the blessing is that I'm alive. I'm healthy. I don't have any health issues. But and I jog on a regular basis when I have time. Lately, I've been slacking off. But I did play frisbee this week several times with my kid and ran all over the place. But
You're a great saxophonist.
oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Anyways, when it comes to alkaline water, like I said, I've tried it many times, and it always gives me a headache. And I'm not toxic. My body's clean as a whistle. I've done more fasting than most people in their whole life. So, yes.
We want to thank you so much. We are so
Well,
blessed.
praise the Lord. And likewise, we thank you, and also the pastor and the elders of the church for letting us come here and share.